Hey guys, this is Nathan here. I wanted to make a presentation for you guys, kind of like why your time feels, or more so why your year feels like it flew by fast. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Nathan. I am a day trader. This video isn't going to talk about any day trading concepts, so don't you worry. You can actually use this, what I'm going to show you or what I'm going to teach you, into anything that you end up doing with you, whatever it is that you do, right? This is literally a cookie cutter. You can apply this to school, to business, or to whatever side hustle you're doing. So for these past 6 months, they have felt almost like an entire year, maybe even more, maybe even like 18 months total. And how I did that, right? Because for a lot of people, they tend to fly by through 6 months. They don't even know what they did the 3rd of March, right? They don't even know exactly a detail by detail, or they can't even go back to that day and be like, oh, well, I did this and this and this. And it's more so very simple things, which we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. It's because their days are repetitive, right? Majority of the times, a lot of these people, they're on their phone doom scrolling and consuming more than they are creating, right? We are literal biomechanical computers. Our job on this earth is to collect as much data as possible and reproduce as much as possible. Back then, when we were a bunch of Neanderthals and a bunch of spear chucking cavemen, we would hunter and gather, and we would, and we would be against other types of predators. And the only way we can know whether one thing is bad and one thing is good is if, we either step into combat zone with them, walk with them, or whatnot. Everything was just a bunch of freaking data. What gives us dopamine and what doesn't, right? What spikes adrenaline and what doesn't. And for doom scrolling, it spikes our dopamine by so much that you would be surprised. I saw a video where it was kind of comparing dopamine, cocaine, or not dopamine, doom scrolling, cocaine, pornography, and so on and so forth, all spiking your dopamine levels, right? Which is completely kind of messing up your dopamine receptors, causing what's supposed to be fun work, boring work. It's what's causing you to dislike, doing the basic things such as reading a book, such as working on your business, simple things like that, right? You don't find them fun because they aren't releasing as much dopamine as possible, because your entire dopamine injectors or receptors are completely messed up. Another thing too is you aren't tracking your time properly, right? For a lot of you people, you kind of just go with the flow. You kind of let your day go by fast. You're kind of that guy, the normal Joe that says, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today, but it's just another day for me. Just gonna do whatever day today has to offer," right? Which is completely wrong. You shouldn't be living off your day like a holy grail or like a Hail Mary, right? You should be setting your days precisely trackable, and kind of to see a benchmark where you're at, right? This, because you're not tracking your days, because your days are being repetitive, it's also causing your brain to kind of forget these things, because they're common, they're normal, they're normalities, right? An example I like to give is when you're working out, right? You have a workout plan. You start off with bench, shoulder press, lateral raises, and tricep push downs. Obviously it's not optimal, but this is kind of an example. Now this person does this workout and repeats it, for the first week. He feels sore and whatnot, body's new to it. Lactic acids are being released and whatnot from the torn myofibers, or I don't even know why I call them myofibers. You're getting micro tears in your muscles, so your body's kind of, it's new to this. It's new to the feeling. Week 2, your body eventually starts adapting to it. It gets used to it. On the 3rd week, your body just is able to perform the workouts. It knows everything you're going to do. It knows that you're going to start off with the bench. It knows that from there, you're going to go to lateral raises, to tricep push downs, to bicep curls, right? So your body, it makes these kind of like, oh, this is like a routine now, like, there's no need to remember. So now your body's like, your mind's kind of like asleep while your body's moving. um, and how you fix this is quite simple. It's quite simple, actually, right? Me personally, I don't like doing it as soon as I wake up. I like to wait 30 minutes before I pick up my phone, before I start putting it down on my phone. But for people that, and I genuinely recommend you people, instead of picking up the first thing, that when you wake up and picking up your phone, you drop that habit, because that's a terrible habit. So I personally, I try and remember it off the top of my head, since my memory has improved by a lot. For newcomers, right? Grab a piece of paper for the first 30 minutes of your day, or while you're brushing your teeth and you're thinking what you're going to do with today. Write down 10 things that you want to accomplish today. And we're not talking about freaking making $100,000 in one day. It's possible, but if you're just starting this and you're not actively constructing your day, it's going to be pretty impossible for you. Almost zero to none, where your chances of hitting that $100,000 jackpot. It's not impossible, but with your circumstances, it could be possibly impossible. So write down what you want to do with that day, what you want to achieve, 10 things and whatnot. And as soon as you set that, put it somewhere you're going to remember. You can either carry the paper, or me personally, I like to put it on my phone's notes. So prime example, I think what I got here is I meditate, go on a morning jog, wake up, make bed. Obviously, like, this is kind of like a basic, follow along. You can do the same thing, but these are kind of like basics that I need to complete, because it's kind of like my disciplinary, follow routine. And I want to make sure that and obviously I have more than 10, but some of these are minimal, some of them are critical, and some of them are normal. So I want to make sure that I'm listing down every single thing that I'm going to do that day, right? Whether that's a big task or a small task. So that can be something as going to the gym, washing my car, cleaning my place, reading a certain book, reading a certain amount of chapters, listening to a certain podcast, listening to a certain seminar, certain things like that, right? You want to make sure that you track them down and you precisely, give out a detailed description of what you're going to do, like how many. So don't just say I'm gonna read this book, right? How many pages, how many chapters, right? Are you gonna read an entire chapter? Are you gonna read the entire book? Or are you gonna read it just like, for a certain amount of time? And once you're done with that, we'll actually get to that part in a bit. So you want to make sure that you set daily tasks, right? But you don't make them too repetitive. Why? Because in this previous screenshot, I mean, this was kind of like where I fell into that trap. But when you make a day super repetitive, it's kind of like, with your muscles, eventually get used to it. Your brain is a muscle. It eventually gets used to what you're doing. And that's when it just goes on autopilot and it just completely turns itself off. Not really, but, in the sense where you're just, kind of daydreaming and you're just kind of moving with your hands and whatnot, because it's muscle memory. So what you want to do, instead of doing A, B, C, D every single day, do A, C, D, B, or B, D, C, A. Swap it up, switch it up a bit. Don't try and make it too repetitive, where then it's kind of like normal material for your brain. Another thing that I do, since I got so used to the route, like every time I go home from the gym, right, it became so, I guess, so normal to me, the normal route that I go to the gym, that I wasn't really admiring the view. I wasn't admiring what was around me. I wasn't admiring the cities, the big mansions that where I was driving by. I was just, another day for me. So that's why I started switching up my routes and whatnot. Started going longer, started going shorter routes. Just so then I can look around me and actually enjoy my scenery, and I'm not just driving by and treating it like another day, So that's one thing you could try, that's one thing you should try. Start tracking your days. Start setting yourself these daily tasks that you should follow, and knock out as many as possible. Another thing too is you want to make sure that you journal, right? I think journaling is super, but super important, mainly because this is literally, like I said, we're walking computers that collect so much data, and are using your head, your brain as a filing cabinet is probably the worst possible thing, because majority of the times a lot of the information, whether it was too juicy or it's too good, it'll majority of times it gets compressed or it ends up in the short-term memory uh, part of your head, and it just completely poops it out. That is why you want to make sure you get a journal and you journal down exactly what it is that you got from either that book, that seminar, what somebody told you, or what you learned, right? Because you want to, at the end of the day, let's say for example it just goes through your head and you're thinking about it, you want to make sure that you're able to go back to these kind of informations that you soaked up, and information that you want to use in the future as well, right? Me personally, especially with me personally as a day trader, right? I log my trades and whatnot. It's super important because in that sense, one, I track how much I'm overspending, I'm underspending. Well, there's no such thing as underspending, let's be honest. But overspending, where my trades are going bad, why they went bad, what emotions I had that day. Was I over leveraging and whatnot, such as overspending? Was I just not following my rules? Certain things like that. So that's data as well, which for you traders, you want to make sure that you track that stuff. And it also kind of tracks like, my winning percentage, see where I'm at, if not through the day, through the week, through the month. So that's another thing you want to do as well. You want to make sure that you're journaling, because at the end of the day, this is important data, such as going over your tasks, like towards the end, once you're done with your day, you go over your tasks, you say, hey, okay, this is where all my time went to, this is where my time was wasted. Why did this work out today? Why didn't it work out yesterday? What obstacle did I have yesterday? What obstacle did I have today? Why was today any different than yesterday? Things of that sort of nature, because then you can always go back to it and you can be like, okay, so this was in the way. How can I improve from, having this obstacle here? How can I overcome this obstacle when I come across it again? Type of thing. And then one more thing too, because I know a lot of you people don't even know what the hell you're doing with your time, right? 30 minutes in your day, you're probably already doom scrolling. Like, let's be honest. Be honest and show up, show up hands. How many people are doom scrolling? A bunch of you, I bet. Probably 90% of you. So you want to make sure that, you're tracking your day, and you want to make sure that you're using your time as wisely as possible. And the best way to do this, me personally, because I write in paper, it's a lot easier for me to kind of track it in that sense. For people that don't like writing too much, keep it simple. Get yourself a freaking Google Doc sheet. It's free, right? All you have to do is create a Google account, create yourself a sheets and whatnot. Set yourself a 30-minute timer for 30 minutes, right? You're gonna first do whatever, right? You're gonna, once that 30 minutes goes off, you're gonna go ahead and type exactly what you did within those 30 minutes. You have to be extremely honest, extremely critical, right? Even if you did something like doom scroll, because like I said, you're gonna go back to this and you're gonna do this for 2 weeks. And I know what you're thinking, 2 weeks, are you being serious? Brother, if you're letting 6 months fly by, I'm sure you can at least sacrifice 2 weeks of your life. So then your days can actually feel way longer than way shorter. So you can actually feel the 6 months and be appreciative and grateful that you did a lot of work throughout those 6 months. Anyways, so you're gonna, every single 30 minutes for the entire day, you're gonna track what you do that day every single time the alarm goes off. So then towards the end of the 2 weeks, you'll review everything you did for those past 2 weeks. Now, they don't have to be like freaking essays, right? They can be something short, something simple, and you can just go back to it. You can review it, and you can be like, okay, this is, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube is what's taking up majority of my time. I need to either cut it off, or I need to be way better when it comes to the management of that. I need to create instead of consume, right? And that's with a lot of people why they're in financial debt. It's because they're a bunch of consumers instead of creators. Okay, cool. Now, none of this stuff is fun. Me personally, I don't find it fun at all, right? Let's be honest. Setting up daily tasks, it's fun, it's satisfying when I go ahead and knock them out. Like, I hit the check mark on my tasks or my journal, like once I look how beautiful my handwriting is and how like filled the pages. But at that moment, like, doing the actual tasks and whatnot, it's not fun. But that's why you have to gamify it, right? Our brain, it works off of dopamine, like we said in the beginning, right? You're getting a bunch of dopamine from doom scrolling. So let's get a bunch of dopamine from completing your task. How do we do that? We gamify it. Now, these are just random photos I decided to find in my camera roll and use for the sake of this video. So whatever you do, be nice in the comments. But how do you gamify it? Me personally, I find it super useful to gamify it by calculating exactly what you did for that entire week. For example, right, let's say for the 7 weeks that you did, you hit all your tasks 10 out of 10 and whatnot. That means you get the max 10 or however many points you decide to have. 10 points, right? I recently swapped it to like 20, but 10 points was the old max, right? What you're going to do, you're going to set yourself some rewards and whatnot, and how many points it is required to earn those rewards. The last one, make it the best, obviously, right? You want to reward yourself for doing something super good. And, the one with the least points, you want to make sure it's like something, I guess, minimal, average, right? This example right here is kind of from weakness old. So if I got 6 points for this one, I got a 1 hour Sunday rot. 20 points, I got to visit my mom on the weekend, drop all tasks for the weekend to only 5 to 10. So something simple like that, right? It can also be something like taking yourself out on a freaking date, or if you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, taking them out on a date, or, something else like watching a movie or treating yourself out to some, dinner, something like that. Just depending on where you want to put that within, your rewards task and whatnot. My examples are here I went out for, I guess, a wine with my brother, went clubbing with my brother, smoked cigar with my brother, and went trailing with my brother. When I forgot the word. It'll come back. But yeah, things like this, rewards such as this, because then at the same time, it's kind of telling your brain, oh, okay, Nathan tends to, knock out 10 out of 10. I'm getting rewarded for this type of behavior, this type of character that I'm building. Let me go ahead and keep on knocking it out. And through gradual time, it just becomes something a norm to you, something you're useful to. Obviously, you want to switch it up a bit and, back and forth, make some hard, make some easy. So it's not like, oh yeah, I brushed my teeth and, I put on my socks and I went for, I walked from downstairs to upstairs. You don't want to make it super simple where it's like, oh, well, I'm hitting this every single time, so all I have to do now is just be super simple. No, you want to make sure that this is taking up at least majority of your day, right? You want to give yourself like at least a 1 hour, 2 hour gap before you go to sleep, but you want to make sure that these tasks are literally eating up majority of your day. Water break. So you want to make sure that these tasks are taking up majority of your day so you're able to, have a fulfilled day and it just doesn't go to waste. On top of that, it'll also force you to, not waste your time doing other gibberish, other useless stuff. So yeah, I hope you like this presentation. I'm trying to make it pretty straightforward as possible. If, you have any questions, concerns, any criticism where I could have, included something, or I missed something, or, something I messed up on, feel free to let me know. I'm open to criticism, always looking to improve. If you do have any video suggestions or things that you'd like to see from me, feel free to drop it down in the comments. And yeah, if you're new, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to see my face again and, free TED Talks like this, yeah, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, you probably won't see my face again. In the future, I do plan on giving you guys some, trading and business stuff and just some more pep talks and whatnot to improve your, not just life to life, but also your, maximize your results. And I think that's everything. Yeah, so if you're one of those people that I have to earn the subscribe, totally fine, totally get it. Just make sure you stick around, write my name somewhere where, you know, you won't forget me. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Class is over. So feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, y'all have an amazing day. God bless.